Hey there, true believers. My name is Clay Orr of Clay Orr Not Customs. I was gonna make a quick video. I say quick, but it's probably gonna take a long time to talk about all this because I'm very long-winded. Love to talk, love to hear myself. So, I'm gonna make a quick video about all the things that I use to make my customs. I'll do my best to put close-up pictures of stuff so you can see exactly what it looks like. I know it's not the best scenario to show all the stuff on my desk, but it was fairly clean, so I figured I'd use my clean desk to its full advantage. Also, I just want to put a preface on there. I use a lot of dirty words, curse words. I have a very foul mouth, and I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just telling you if that doesn't swing for you, if you don't like that, you might want to just watch this on mute. It will do no good on mute otherwise than just seeing things that I hold up. But that being said, let's get this fucking show on the road. But in no particular order, the things on my desk are the things that I use for my customs. They're always laying around, so I grab the things that were closest to me. Probably one of the most important tools that you're going to use if you start out on a custom is a Dremel. A Dremel is like a small drill that has a high torque rate, a high RPM. It goes a lot faster than a normal drill that you would go get from Home Depot or something. It can go really fast. Mine goes from 15,000 to 35,000 RPM. It is a Dremel Multi-Pro Model 285, if you want to go get the exact one that I have. I don't know why you would want to, but that's the one that I use. It works really great. It has a slow speed and it has a really fast speed. Another big tool that I use that a lot of people have a lot of different methods of using, the boil and pop method, which is when you heat up water in a pot, put it on the stove, and put your figure in it. Then you take it out and you pop the pins out, and it's malleable enough where you can pop the pins out without disrupting the figure, without melting it or warping it. I never use this because I'm terrified of boiling water. A lot of bad things happen with boiling water, so I try to avoid that. I did start out using a hairdryer. A hairdryer works pretty good if you've got a wife, a girlfriend, a very fabulous boyfriend, somebody who has a hairdryer, your mom, dad, doesn't matter. If you've got that, you can use that. It works pretty well. It takes a while to actually get to point it at the figure and get the figure opened. It's not opened at all. I'm at a loss for words. If you get the figure hot enough, you can pop the pegs out. Works pretty well for me. I am very impatient. So another thing that I have is a heat gun. This is a Drill Master. I got it from Harbor Freight Tools. I got it on sale. It was like $7.99. It's a dual temperature heat gun, item number 96289. If you want to go get one of those, I got it from Harbor Freight Tools. I'm sure they have them cheap at Hobby Lobby or anything like that. Maybe Hobby Lobby, Home Depot, Lowe's. I use that a lot. You put the hot glue gun, not a hot glue gun, the heat gun. Damn, I am fucking up. You put the heat gun up into the figure, the joints where the pegs are, anything you want to pop it out, put it on there, bam, 6 seconds, the thing's hot enough. And this leads me to my next tool that I have, is an iron punch. You can get these, I don't know what they're for, I guess, probably punching, some sort of hammering. It's like a chisel almost, you might call it that. You get this right here, and as you can see, it's got a point on the end of it. Maybe get over something that's my pale white skin. It's a punch, and you can use it to knock out the pins. Once they're hot enough and they're heated enough, you can just pop them right out. And it works great. It works a lot better. I say this because I've never used the boil and pop method, but it works a lot better than that. It's a lot quicker if you're antsy like me. So those are probably the 2-3 biggest tools that I use. The rest of the tools on my desk, couple of things here. This is a Leatherman multi-tool. You don't necessarily need a Leatherman. Like I said, I've got lots of tools and stuff, so I've had this for a long time. It's basically a needle nose pliers. It's got wire cutters up in here. You can crimp stuff with it if you know what crimping is. It's got a file, a pocket knife, a saw, like scissor, a screwdriver, a bottle opener. But as you can see right here, it's got a scissor on the end of it. I use this a lot for when I'm cutting my craft foam, rubber bands. Shit. I'm knocking my shit out of the way. What the hell am I doing? I use the scissors a lot. They work pretty well, but that's another Leatherman that I have. Also works great for if you want to hold a part, if you just painted it, or if you want to do something. I can't use the move. You can use it to hold the part and then sit the part down on it. It doesn't work right there. So yeah, don't follow my advice on that. That's usually not the one I use to hold that. I actually got it completely disassembled. You can probably see Iron Fist here. I am planning on making a video of disassembling a figure. I always forget when I start doing it. I've got my time down on a Bucky Cat mold to about 30-35 minutes of disassembling it, prepping it, sealing it, and painting the joints and putting it back together ready for the final paint or sculpt. Whatever you want to call that. But I will do that later, so stay tuned. It takes me a while. I'm a lazy piece of shit. Getting sidetracked, which is why it takes me so long to get commissions done. So bear with me here. Another very valuable tool that you will use is an X-Acto knife. I know you might be able to see it right here. As you can see, I've had this bastard for a long time. And as I said, my dad used to own a hobby shop, so he's got a shop full of stuff, including like industrial bulk size packs of X-Acto blades and stuff like that. I'm never gonna get those back in there. Maybe I will. Nope, never gonna get those back in there. Gonna have to use all those today. All right, awesome. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. You can get them at Walmart. I use just the standard blade. I don't know what size it is. Excuse me. I might look it up and post it on the video. But it's just the standard X-Acto knife. Use it to cut anything. It's really sharp. I have a lot of scars to prove it. Very handy tool. A lot of things. I use it for, you know, picking stuff out of my ears, shit like that. These are, I guess, like reverse pliers. They're actually reversible. You can get them from, I got them from Harbor Freight Tools. Everything in Harbor Freight is less than $10. You just have to catch it on the right day. This is Pittsburgh. I don't know what, like, specifically what these are called, like compression pliers maybe, but you can reverse them so that you can either hold things. Here's a fist I was using. I was painting and prep last night, and you can actually squeeze it so it'll hold the thing, so you don't have to hold the pliers to hold the thing. You can reverse them so they will actually work where you can grab stuff with them like normal pliers would be. But I have two sets of these, and as you can see, double fist in here. One of them's not fist, so I'm not double fisting, but I use those a lot. Those are very handy when you paint something, when you super glue something, you don't want to hold it. This thing right here is maybe your wife, boyfriend, drag queen. Maybe you know Nathan Lane. I'm sure he has several of these. This is like a makeup brush. I don't know what kind of makeup it is. The only makeup I know is Kiss makeup. Shit. Makeup brush. Yes. Fuck. Okay. Makeup brush. This is I use it for, so like if I'm dremeling something and I've got paint on it already, but it's not like the final paint. It's a base coat something. I can use, it's got like a couple of little bits of plastic or something on it. You just kind of do that. It doesn't really affect the paint. It's more effective than blowing off the figure or just trying to brush it off with your finger. This is just a quicker, cleaner way. Plus it gives you a reason to go to Walmart. This also might be my secret weapon. Not particularly this brand. This is Quick Fix Super Glue. I think JB Weld makes it. It is a Hobby Lobby brand. Hobby Lobby, I've only seen it at Hobby Lobby. I don't go to super glue places very often. Super glue festivals, I don't know. This is Quick Fix Super Glue. It has a brushable brush. It's super glue, so it's brushable, so you can brush it on your joints. You can brush it on your eyebrows, whatever the hell you want to put it on. It works great for that. And after I paint something that I don't want any paint rub, I sand it down first off. But I put some super glue on it to kind of protect it, just as a protectant. It works great if you're painting the inside of iron. This would be that on Iron Fist. This has actually been dremeled out so it wouldn't paint rub. But if you Dremel that out and you paint it, you want that to be red. If you're painting a red figure, if you're painting Cyclops, you want that to be blue, Deadpool, rainbow. It doesn't matter. But I paint that red, whatever color, and then I put super glue, brush the super glue on it, let it dry, and then when you heat it back up with your heat gun and pop the arm back in there, you'll have paint that won't come off on the inside there, and you won't have to get a small paintbrush and paint on the inside of it. Super glue works as a protectant, kind of like a varnish. So yeah, super glue works wonders. Top of joints, any kind of sealant. If you want something, if you gotta sand it down first, you can't just paint something, then super glue it and hope that it'll work. Also, don't super glue your fingers together. I know you're all adults, maybe, I don't know how old you are, but don't super glue your fucking fingers together, because I'm not responsible for this. Don't say that you found a video and the guy, you know, couldn't keep his fucking mind straight and he told me to super glue my fingers together. You know, fuck that. I'm not responsible, and I'm gonna put some sort of disclaimer that says I'm not fucking responsible for your fingers. I don't care anymore. I'm done with that sentence. So, trying to get back on point here, got all this stuff, my punches, this is a clamp, no, neither of those are the right word, a clamp. This is American Tool Company Quick Grip, a 53006. This works pretty well if you have glued Iron Fist together and you want to compress his body and make sure that he stays glued together. You will glue, hopefully you'll have more of him together, otherwise you're gonna have to pop him back open. But you squeeze this together and it squeezes the body together, keeps it pretty for you, unless you do that. These come in a variety of sizes, so if you're doing a Hulk or if you want to whatever, this works great for small little torsos and whatnot. So there's that. Sandpaper, duh, that's pretty easy to understand with sandpaper. I will give a quick little run through. This is 2000 grit sandpaper. This stuff's kind of expensive. It's not just like stuff you go get at Home Depot or whatever. This is really fine sandpaper. Always a good thing to remember. The lower the number on sandpaper, the higher the grit. It will be harder. It will be rougher. Like 180 grit sandpaper is really rough. 2000 grit sandpaper is really fine. It's almost like there's not any paper there at all. So if you're trying to get something smooth, like owl shit or baby shit, use 2000 grit sandpaper. It's pretty handy. You won't always have exactly what it is on the back of it, because if you rip it off like I do, you get sheets of it. You won't have exactly the number on the back of it. Clear coat. Once you're done with your figure, this is what I use. This is what a lot of people that I know use. This is if you ever hear anybody call it dull coat, this is dull coat. It's written on the bottom there. Because I take the caps off when I paint outside. This is what you will use after you're done with your figure. If it's kind of sticky, if it's I don't know, if you're just done with it and you want to seal it, to put it on your shelf, to send it to somebody, use this stuff. It is a dull coat. It flattens the color. So if you're looking to paint an Iron Man that's metallic, or you've busted your ass to paint metallic colors, this will not make it metallic. This is dull coat. This is the flattest. It says right here on the label here, dull coat, whatever. They also make gloss coat. It's by the same people. If you let it cure properly, you let it dry, it doesn't affect your plastic because your paint's already on the plastic. It doesn't eat the plastic away. This stuff works wonders. You may use something different. I use sometimes Krylon low odor clear finish. This is a matte coat also. You can get gloss. This stuff is okay. If there's a lot of moisture in your air, it'll like yellow the stuff you're painting. I don't know, if you're painting somebody who's black, someone like, you know, big time letdown Spider-Man, if you've painted his green lines on there again and you want to finish him off, phrasing, boom. It will yellow if you've got a lot of moisture in your air. If you live in a humid place like fucking Georgia, I don't use this a lot. If you do, use very thin coats, use it very sparingly. It works great, but it's kind of shitty. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but this is Sculpt. If you ever see somebody sculpt something awesome on their bodies or whatever, like this is epoxy sculpt. This is what I use. This is epoxy. Epoxy is the brand. Epoxy is what it is. Epoxy sculpt. This is stuff that you would use. It's a two-part thing. You mix half and half, 50-50 ratio. This is A, this is B. They're two different colors. They look exactly the same. Then you sculpt. You got about, I don't know, maybe an hour working time with it. That's how I've found it. You got about an hour working time, and then you've got, I don't know, maybe 6-7 hours before it dries to the touch, before you can start really touching it, before it like doesn't, before it's not malleable, before it, like if you squeeze it, it would mess up. I would let it cure overnight. If you're sculpting something at 7 o'clock in the morning, it might be ready by dinner time. Depends on what time you eat dinner. Like 7 o'clock, 8 p.m., it might be ready for that. I always let it cure overnight, just for a whole day before I use it. There's a lot of different brands of it. This is epoxy. There's green stuff. There's Milliput. There's Procreate. Procreate is the stuff that people use to make that really awesome flexible hair. I really haven't mastered that yet. That's Sculpt. I'll go into that in another video one day, hopefully. The thing that everybody always asking me, that one of the biggest questions is what type of specific little things that I use, what kind of Dremel bits, what kind of paintbrushes, what kind of paints do I use, can I use enamel paints, can I use acrylic paints, how do you stay so thin, things like that, people that ask me. My Dremel bits that I use, I'll go into them and I'll put a small picture of them, a close-up picture, but this is a bit that I use when I grind away stuff. So if I have a joint like on the crotch joint right here of Iron Fist, those little like the pegs that like the cylinder pegs that go through the shoulder ball or the crotch ball. I don't know if you call it a crotch ball. I use this thing to grind away at those. This grinds away plastic the best. This is called like a dentist burr. Those work pretty well for that. And then once I've got the dentist burr and I've cut away all the plastic I want to smooth it up a little bit. This is the bit that I use to smooth that up a little bit. It's not as bad. It's not as gritty, I guess. It's a lot finer of a bit. So you can use that to grind out the inside of this thing, of the inside of Iron Fist's arms. You would just grind it out until you have enough room where you put the arm back in there. It's not going to touch really any of that. And even if you do touch it, put a little super glue in there, works like a charm. That's one of the second most ones that I use. This one is just like a barrel grinder. You can use that. I use that a lot if I'm like on this neck peg right here. I pop it open. You just Dremel the outside of it like there. Dremel just enough away. You don't want it to be warped or skewed or anything like that. Just enough to make it where it won't touch, where it won't rub when it's in the body. You can always pop the body back in there and then put your neck peg in there. You can even put a little paint on it if you wanted to and see if the paint stays on it. You just want it to not touch. Another choice you could do is grind away that little spot where it might touch, grind it out just a little bit. Sometimes I do that if I'm having a problem or if I'm pissed off or just want it to be done. This is just a drill bit. It's a small drill bit for a Dremel. This is what I use to pop open, to drill a hole in the side of Iron Fist. You can see it varies from figure to figure where you're going to drill the holes, but I drill them right there at the bottom parts of the torso. Also drill them in the neck where you can pop them open, because if you try to pry it open at one spot, it might break it. Also, I don't heat it up. I got that question the other day. I don't heat it up when I do it. I leave it cold, room temperature, whatever. If you heat it up, it might warp the plastic because it is plastic after all. If you pop it open, it's more susceptible to be physically popped open in two pieces like hard plastic. If you heat it up, it might melt, warp. And then this one is, I guess, is also a barrel bit, whatever. I use this to grind away at, if you get the crotchy, where's the fucking crotchy right here? Iron Fist might not work very well because he has a tiny crotchy. Sorry, Iron Fist, Danny. But I use it to Dremel away the outside of it and the inside of it, so none of the crotch pieces, the leg balls, the crotch balls, lower torso balls, I don't know what you want to call them. They're balls. They're not like, it's a ball joint kind of. I mean, it's, fuck it, I don't care what I call it. So I use those. Those are my drill bits. The ones I use mostly. Some of them I've got over here are variations. It's got a bigger dental burr or a bigger barrel bit. Just, it depends on what you get. So if you go to a hobby store, hardware store, buy a big set of, I don't have one near me because I only use these bits. Buy a big set of drill bits. You won't regret it. It's always good to have something. If you have a really like a pointed one or a small one, whatever, you can always use that. You never have too many tools. Always remember that. My paintbrushes, I always ask what kind of detail paintbrushes and shit that I use. I don't go anywhere special for paintbrushes. Walmart works fine. Target, I don't know if it has paintbrushes. As long as they're somewhat okay, you can't just go to the dollar store and buy paintbrushes. You might be able to put a dry brush coat on something, a wash. If you're just trying to paint something like, you want it to be fine enough where it's where it's gonna leave a good like paint strokes. You don't want it to be shitty looking. But most of the plastic is already prepared, so it's gonna look good regardless. I use a couple of these right here. I use bigger brushes, thicker brushes. Those are the kind of paint brushes I use. The detail brushes that I use a little bit something specific. These are Espresso brand, Royal and Langnickel round brushes. Those are, if you're going to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or your particular art store, round is the type of brush that I use. This is a 10/0. I've got a bunch of detail brushes that I use over here to get smaller eyes, whatever. These are 18/0. 20 over 0, you know, the I guess the higher the number, I don't really know how that goes, but I've kind of been learning that lately. The higher the number, the finer it is, the smaller it is. So I use round 10 over 0, 20 over 0 brushes. Those work great for eyes, for painting itty bitty little details. If you want to paint something on someone's chest, or if you're painting Deadpool's belt buckle with his eyes, whatever. Paint brushes, this is just, I've been using red paint, so I got red water. I got all my brushes in here. When I get them, I figure out which one I need and I brush it off. That's why I've got such pretty clothes on right here, because I usually dry my brushes off on my shirt, and I don't really care because I don't have a nice wardrobe, so, you know, fuck it, man. It just depends on what you're painting, but my specific ones, those are the ones I use. And probably the question that everybody's getting to, that you've seen it on my desk, is what kind of paints do I use? First and foremost, do not use enamel paints. Never use enamel paints. I've got some around here that I bought way back in the day. They will fuck you up. Don't use enamel paints on at least Marvel Legends, DC, whatever the hell you're painting. I don't. There might be a way to do it. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm not a paintist. I use, someone told me way back in the day that Citadel paints were the paints to use. I trusted his judgment. He was a very, he still is, he's a very good customizer. Greg of Komoda Customs, he told me, he gave me some tips on what kind of paints to use, what flesh tones, I got a big drawer right here full of paints that I use all the time. These are all Citadels. That's normally what I use the most, because they're thick enough, they're good enough, they're not watery. This one is a red, it's a layer paint. There's layer paints, base paints are thicker. This is Evil Sun's Scarlet. It's a really good red. I also use occasionally, if I can't find the right color, thanks to Kenneth Wilcutt, God of War Customs. He suggested I use, he uses a lot Model Master acrylics. This is a Arctic Blue Metallic. I used this when I made my Cardiac, Shane Ford. That's for you, buddy. And testers, these are, and this one was $3.79. I think Citadels, I don't even know how much they are. I just give them my card and just shutter when they swipe it. I think they're like maybe $4 a piece, $4 a pot. These are $3.79. These are a little bit more because you get more for them. This one is good for a metallic. If you put if you paint a metallic, it looks great with that. Also, these I use, this is kind of like a clear coat. I mean, most of you know what a varnish is, but I use these. These are, I think these are Vallejo. Yeah, these are Vallejo brand. Vallejo also makes paints. I don't use those because there's not a shop close to me that sells Vallejo, other than these. These are varnishes. You can use these to kind of clear coat something if you don't want to go outside and spray paint it. Matte varnish. I used to know a guy named Matte Varnish. No, I didn't. That's a lie. Matte varnish is flat, satin, whatever you would call it. That works pretty well like that. Gloss varnish works great if you're painting something metallic. If you dull coat it with this stuff and you make it flat, but you wanted, like my Yondu here, he is gloss varnished on his gold parts. So they shine a little bit. He's flat on his body, but he is, I don't know if you can see that very well. He is metallic-y. He looks very shiny on his gold part, so that works great for him. There's a couple more that I use. These are Hobby Lobby brand paints. I might get them somewhere else, but you can use these. Get them from Walmart, get them from, you know, any kind of shitty hobby store or whatever. They're like $1 a piece, maybe $1.79. They're really thin, so you have to do a lot of coats. They work pretty well for what you pay for them. If they were $5.99, I would expect them to work great, but they aren't, and they don't. I use this because my cat loves to steal little pieces off of my desk. So sprayed that little bitch in the face, and she is gone. Pretty much it. If I think of anything else, I'll make a supplementary video. Like I said, I'm not a professional. These are the things that I've worked to use, and like I've seen that they work pretty well. If you use something different, chime in, send me a message, comment something, tell me what you use, tell me what's better, tell me why you hate this, tell me why you hate my video that I can't keep my mind straight, and I don't care, man. I made these for myself and people started liking them, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna start selling them. I will guarantee that I'll fix it if it messes up. All my customs have that. If it messes up, contact me, send it back. I'd love to fix it. Basically, just keep at it. You will fuck up a lot of figures. If you could get good at it in one day, would you really want to do it? It wouldn't be that fun. Everybody could do it. Everybody would be posting their customs. This is one of the first customs I made. As you can see, it's pretty awful. He's in this one pose because he was painted with enamel paints. That's the first no-no that I learned. He was sticky for days until I clear coated him with gloss clear coat nonetheless. No paint rub treatment whatsoever, so you can't move him, otherwise his joints are white. Always continue, never give up, never surrender. Just keep making stuff. If you fuck up a figure. What's the worst thing that happened? You fucked up a plastic figure, you know. You can always buy another one. Unless it's something that, you know, you casted yourself and, you know, sculpted yourself and you fuck it up. Then you might feel bad, but you should feel bad because then you wasted a good figure on something you didn't know how to do. And then you wouldn't go take apart like, you know, like a 1958 Impala if you didn't know how to, you know, do any engine work. It's your own fault. I've talked way too long, so there's my figure. Don't give up. Make stuff. Comment stuff. Show me what you've made. If you have any different opinions or anything that you want to share with me, pop in a comment, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. You know, I'm open to talking to anybody, so if I don't message you back, don't take it personally. I'm fucking scatterbrained. That's all I got. I don't have a sign off, so bye.